Hey, happy Sunday. Welcome back to another class on the afterlife. And today we're going to be talking about your spirit team. That is the angels, the spirit guides, and the loved ones that you have on your side that are helping you get through the journey that we can call life here on the earth plane. And so I'm super excited about that. And as we are waiting for other people to come into the room, I do have a video out on your spirit team already. And the reason for doing a Facebook Live is so that I can answer your questions as it relates to this. So welcome into the room as I have the Debbies that are already here. And so grateful that you're here and following. And I do want to remind everybody that the whole point of me even having a YouTube channel is that so I can get out information that is accurate about the spirit world and about spirit things. Oh, I just have Debbies here so far in the chat room. So welcome to all the Debbies that are here. You know I love you. You know that I know each of you personally, and I'm so grateful for it. And so hopefully you have your questions ready to go. But your spirit team are the guides, the angels, and the loved ones that are around you that are supporting you through this journey of life. And so with every subscription that I have on YouTube, I'm able to reach more and more people because the way YouTube and all of that stuff works, it reaches out to more people. And I want to get accurate and truthful information that doesn't just come from books. The information that I present out there, if it ever comes from something that I learned from another teacher or a book, I will share that that's where it's come from. But most of the information that I share comes from a direct link and a direct connection on my own here from the spirit world. And so if I can disseminate out to the world information that's honest and truthful from spirit, then that's really my goal here and why I would even have a YouTube channel and want for people to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And so it's a small following at this time, but as we grow it, it's going to support more and more people. And once I reach 500 subscribers, I am going to give away a free reading. And so if you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and liked this Facebook page, Leanne Thomas Medium, and also like my Leanne Thomas Medium Instagram, then you are eligible for a free reading once we get there to 500 subscribers. So that's kind of exciting. Now, as I'm waiting for more and more people to come in to the room and to talk about our spirit team and what that mean and how to work with them and who they are, I want to talk about my personal development 2-day course that is coming March 3rd and 4th. The February 3rd and 4th class, which is exactly the same, is full, and it got full in a couple of hours. So I wanted to offer it again in March, and there are still a few seats available for that one. And it is about a personal journey, but you get an opportunity to work with others to improve your intuitive skills. It's for everyone. You don't need to think, oh, I'm an intuitive, oh, I might have mediumship skills to take that class, but certainly for anyone that wants to progress spiritually that way, then I want to encourage you to consider taking that 2-day course in March that's coming up. So that's an excitement. Also, if you are single and you are looking to meet your soulmate, I do have a very unique development course that I'm offering in the new year. It's 12 one-hour-ish sessions for only 8 people who are looking at transforming their life relationship-wise. And it will be application style form because people need to be ready to want to accept that into their life. And so if you're interested, send me an email, leanne@angelichope.com, and I can either provide you with more information, and eventually I will be getting the information out and doing a video on its own about how to apply for that course to meet your soulmate, to connect to someone in your life that way. So But let's jump into, and then I want to take your questions as it relates to your spirit team. So as I said in the very beginning, your spirit team relates to your loved ones, the angels, and your spirit guides that are around you that support you getting through this lifetime. And so your loved ones are very obvious. They're those that you loved in this world or your ancestors. So it could be a parent, a mom or dad. It could be a grandparent that you were close to or not close to, a sibling, a child even. Today I did a group reading, and in the group reading there was someone's son had come through for them so very clearly, and that he was definitely watching over the members of the family, gave very specific information on what was going on in their lives, and that he knew what was happening in the family with his children and with his brother and what was going on with mom. And the reason our loved ones step forward is because oftentimes in heaven or the other side, they recognize or they realize that of the shortcomings they had. It's like that V8 moment, the shortcomings they had, or maybe even the really good things that they did that they want to remember and share, and then how they're helping. The reason you have a spirit team around you is to help you progress and move forward in life, for you to continue to evolve, for you to drop down your fears and the barriers that keep you from taking chances and owning, say, your gifts or owning talents that you have, so that you can become more of who you really are and be authentic to you. And so our loved ones come in to share what they see that has happened since their passing, so that we can know that how they're helping us, or to provide insight on what's going on in our life. And so it is a very specific example. A son came forward today in a group reading to share that with his brother, that his business and his craft and his art was going to continue to expand and evolve, and for him to get serious about it and very specific on who to send some of his art to help him move forward. And so our loved ones are right here with us, even everyone in our spirit team. But I like to start by discussing our loved ones in heaven, because we miss them and our connection to them and our being able to touch them or hug them or smell their perfume. But they want us to know that they haven't stepped away. They haven't moved away from caring for us and loving for us. And that was a great example today of how a brother was helping his brother trust and own his gifts, and to give him insight on some things that he could do to make his business and his love for his talent expand. So our loved ones do this because on some level they're connected to our soul and want to see us have the life of our dreams, whether it's because their life got cut too short or because it was their time to go. They're helping us along like our biggest cheerleaders. And that's true for all of our loved ones. But we have a special bond. Even if we didn't have a strong earth connection to a loved one, maybe it's a grandmother or a great-grandmother that you didn't know well. Ancestor-wise, our souls, and even our souls can tap into our DNA, and why we choose certain soul groups or families to be born into is because we're part of their soul group. And so that they want to help us move forward in our life. They want to help us get past our fears, and they'll also see their shortcomings and recognize and realize where they fell short, where they let fear or where they let life issues or ideals of money or not enough money or time or resources get in the way of them making some of their dreams come true. And so they see that for us and want to help us get past them. I get this question all the time, not really even a question, but a comment. And I got it on Friday from a private session that I did with someone. And she asked me, was she bothering her loved ones by asking for a reading? Was she bothering them because she had heard people tell her, you need to leave them alone, they need to go on, they need to move on with their life, they need to let go of their earthly life and progress into spirit. And they're oftentimes lining up and waiting for a client to get to me, like to show up for their session, whether it's a group reading or a personal one-on-one. So the answer is no, we're never bothering them. They don't exist in the same time, space, perception that we have. So they're not limited by either time or space. They are watching over, they're supporting, they're helping us on our journey, and they want to be a part of it. They leave us signs, they leave us symbols. So for any of you that get songs or music and you're hearing a song over and over again, it reminds you of a loved one, whether the song came out before, that it connects you to that person. It's them reaching out to you through music. Maybe you're left coins or feathers. Maybe you're left signs. I get ladybugs. Maybe you have dragonflies or butterflies or other kinds of signs from spirit that you know that loved ones have left for you, or you're starting to suspect that they're leaving for you. They're doing that so that you can know they're not bothered in spirit. You're not bothering them by asking for their support, sending them prayers, sending them love, asking for their guidance or their advice from spirit. Our loved ones want to help us. And so, no, one of the questions I get often is that we're not bothering anyone in spirit, and they are not inhibited or limited to time and space. Let me talk next about our spirit guides, because this is such a little known topic. And for me, the understanding of spirit guides came kind of late in the game, if you will, overall. I was very aware of angels from the time I was a very little girl, small, 3-4 years old. I knew that angels were real. I knew they were around me, and I was talking to them. Our loved ones, I never doubted that. I was raised as a Catholic, so I believed that the soul went on, that we honored our ancestors, we honored the dead, and we sent prayers that direction for them, lit candles for them in church even. So I didn't ever have a doubt in my mind about angels or our loved ones. Spirit guides was a new concept for me. It was nothing that I ever heard of, or a term that I ever heard of growing up. And so if you had heard of it growing up, please comment here on Facebook as we go through this, because I want to see like the difference in family perceptions or upbringing. So if you were raised talking about spirit guides, hearing about them, it would be fun to hear if that's the case. Or if you were like me, just put no, I wasn't. I was raised Catholic too, or I was taught to believe in angels and that our soul goes on, but not necessarily spirit guides. But spirit guides are the beings that have a strong connection to our soul, but we didn't have a connection to them in the current life that we're living. We've had other lifetimes with them. And yes, from all of the readings that I've done and all of the connections that I've made, we do have more than one lifetime. Reincarnation is real, but it doesn't mean that the current life that we're living is not the most precious and the most important. It doesn't mean that we put things off in this life, or we don't value the connection to our loved ones. It doesn't mean that we don't put the importance of the people and the journey of this life behind us because of the idea that we'll come back, or reincarnation. And so I wasn't raised with an idea that guides were real, and so it came on to me very late. But I came to discover and uncover my connection to them as I grew more comfortable with it. Because no being of light and of beauty that exists on the other side or in the afterlife steps forward to get in the way of our journey here on this life, or to upset us. Now, we can have gifts, even spiritual gifts or mediumship gifts, but we may have a tendency more towards angels or loved ones than we do guides, and that doesn't mean that you're less of a medium. I love the comments here that people are putting in that no, they weren't raised with the idea of these spiritual beings that were around us, but they wish that they were. Others are writing here in the chat room that they were also raised Catholic and never heard of spirit guides. Some people are writing, I have someone here that wrote, yes, I was aware as a young child. You know, it can also be a spirit guide is that some children have imaginary friends. That can be, isn't always, but it can be a connection to a spirit guide also. Debbie, it's so interesting. Debbie Paul writes that she was not raised to know about spirit guides, but she was raised Lutheran. Interesting, I was raised Catholic until I was about in 8th grade, and then we became Lutheran. So she was also raised Lutheran, and she knows of angels and loved ones in spirit as well. And then Renee writes that she did know of, looks like spirit guides, but she always felt different. So I hope, Renee, that you're trusting those intuitive feelings that you have and some of the spirit connections it sounds like you're having to help you embrace life fully. So even Dawn writes, as an adult, I can now see how spirit guides have always been a part of my life. I can too, but I didn't always get back when I was a child, that wasn't a comfort zone. I wasn't raised with it. So I feel like they didn't want to push on to me the idea of who they were. But as soon as I began to embrace it and let go of my guard and my preconceptions, because I really feel my preconceptions stopped me from really making a connection to my spirit. I was giving readings to people, very clear, specific, and targeted readings, names, dates, other kinds of things, specific information of people's death or other things with spirit before I even had a strong connection to my guides, because they don't want to impose upon us. But our guides are beings that have lived other lives with us. They've had human lives where they lived with us in some configuration of whether they were a good friend in another life, they were a sibling, a parent, some family member perhaps, or just a strong member, a person in our life, husband, wife. Then they want to come back and give back so that we can accomplish spiritual goals, emotional goals, and even physical goals in this life. So that's why we have spirit guides, because they walk the earth plane. They know what it's like to be human. They know what it's like to feel all of the temptations, the hunger, the cold, all of the physical sensations that we get. They understand it. They know what it's like, and they're here to help us get past that or get over the idea that we need to have something, someone, or in our life to make us complete. They want us to learn the lessons to be authentic and real to ourselves and our feelings and who we are as a human being. And they're always pushing us to love no matter what, no matter the difficulty or the pain that can come involved with loving. And so that's the beauty of a spirit guide, because they know what it's like to be human. They know what it's like to be us. You know, they love us beyond. Think of if you have children and maybe you have nieces or nephews, or maybe you just have that person in your life that you love and adore no matter what they do. There isn't anything that probably your child could do that you couldn't in some way forgive them, bring them back in, hold them again, love them anyway through. Your spirit guide feels like that with you, but 100 times over. They adore you or feel you more than anything else. Now, and that's spirit guides. So we have a stronger connection to them, maybe even more so than we do our own children or parents in our life or other people. And imagine your love for them. The love for a spirit guide can be stronger, and your connection to them is personal. So if you're getting readings and people are telling you the name of your spirit guides or other things like this, it may or may not be true, because your guides want you to develop your relationship with them personally. And one way to develop a relationship, whether it's with loved ones or with guides, is through quieting your mind and some form of meditation. Not meaning meditation where you are eating brown rice on a mountaintop, chanting Tibetan phrases. No, this is more of quieting the mind so you can allow thought to come in or drift into you. Somebody writes here that my daughter had imaginary friends, picked them up different places. I'm not sure what we meant by we went, But it's certainly true that children are less inhibited by the thoughts or the confines of the spirit of the real world. They can connect to spirit so much easier. Embracing it means, Renee asked, that's a great question. Embracing our spirit guides or even our loved ones here to help guide us on our way means that we have to drop our conceptions, the confinements of what the world wants to teach us is real, or the difference between reality and not reality, and allow for the guidance to come through by quieting our mind. And for me, sometimes that's why I'm exercising or working out. I let everything go quiet. I turn volumes off. I don't have music going and I go quiet. Sometimes it means I'm sitting in stillness. Sometimes I'm folding the laundry, but I create space in my life to make it happen. I go quiet and I listen. I set the intention and I say, I would like support or help in this area, and I may have to do it a few days in a row. I'm only spending 10, 15 minutes tops allowing it to come through. For me, since I know how to use them, I also incorporate cards. And if you've taken any one of my spiritual development classes, you have a greater understanding of using cards to help spirit come in to give you the guidance that you need. And I'm talking about angel cards. I'm not talking about the tarot. Nothing wrong with that, but the tarot can be a little more complicated, and it's pulling in more energies than just our guides or our loved ones and the angels. So that's how you embrace it. You open space in your heart and mind, and then you watch for the signs to come through. And if you are in fear because you don't want to change something, meaning that you think you're not going to have enough money to take a class, you think that you're not going to have enough time in your life, or any of those fear-based things, money shows up when the time is right. All of those things line up and they become non-issues. It's us that put them in our way. Do we choose our guides? We absolutely do. We work in conjunction, Krista, with our guides. And they also choose us. There's a dovetail of energy and that we have, but there's a love bond of a lifetime already spent, or many lifetimes already spent. We already have a soul connection, especially with our master guide. And so because of that, we choose them and they choose us. And we will say, like, dude, I'm going back down. I need to evolve and grow. You're going to guide me. You guide me. Let's work this out. Let's create our soul contract or our plan. And if you were able to listen to last week's class, you know about the soul contracts that we make with our guides and the soul connections that we have. And so if you haven't listened to last week's, I want you to go to YouTube, find that video. All you have to do is look up Leanne Thomas, subscribe to my channel, and watch that to learn about the soul contracts that we have and how we come to one another, because part of their growth can be supporting us through this life. And so it also benefits them, and it just isn't for benefit, it's through love and support. And so thank you, Renee. I'm so glad you needed to hear this today. And you know what? Love you. And I'm just wishing you the best and sending love around you. There's also a strong grandfather figure that sits to your left that wants to support your journey here too, because he feels like he didn't quite get it right. Debbie says, great analogy for spirit guides like grandparents, godparents. They can be. Our grandparents that we had in this life aren't going to be like our master guide or someone like that. So it's not going to be a master guide that was going to end up being your, had been a grandparent for you or something like that. But our loved ones are part of our spirit team. They're just a different kind of support. We have a stronger bond. It's hard to imagine because since we didn't have that earthly bond, but we have a stronger bond to our spirit guides. Now, we can have different kinds of spirit guides because spirit guides aren't just like our master guide guiding us through things with many lifetimes. We will have other kinds of spirit guides depending on our life and our life path. So say someone that's a doctor will have certain guides step forward for them in their life that want to support them with healing kinds of modalities in a very logical, scientific way. Whereas me, someone that does healing work, the reconnection, will have guides that support and help me on healing work from a more energetic or a spirit kind of idea or thought. So we don't want to limit ourselves with guides or the potential for them to come in our life. But let me give you a few examples. If we're going through a difficult time, say a divorce, we will have guides that step forward that can help bring our energy through the difficult time. They'll show up in our life for a specific period of time, help us get through a trauma or an issue, and then go on their way. They've completed a task. Just like if in the physical world, if you've seen a doctor for, like I went to a chiropractor for an issue, and the amazing help he gave me, but I needed it for a period of time. I got better. I became more in alignment with my spine and everything else, and did the extra, do the work, become in alignment with it, and I move on my way. And so the doctor was amazing and helpful and supportive, but it was for that period of time, for that reason. So if somebody has had a health issue and you get over that health crisis or that health issue, you don't need that doctor in your life forever. You may go back and visit now and then, but it's you get over the issue, that doctor leaves your life. And so it's the same thing here with guides that are work with us spiritually or from the spirit sector. So in the afterlife, we get this beautiful team of loved ones, spirit guides, and as I move into angels. But I want to ask or make sure if you have questions about spirit guides, if you want to ask them. April's writing here, a male voice gave me 2 female names, and I never knew whether they were my spirit guides or my guardian angels. First of all, on a very macro level, a big level here, it doesn't matter. But because, April, you are a very spiritual being who's growing and developing spiritually, you'll want to put in the time, effort, and energy into quieting your mind in whatever way, like I discussed earlier, works for you, to tease that out. It's like unraveling a knot. Or if you've ever gotten like some necklaces, like jewelry, knotted up together and you're unraveling them, there's like a great joy in like untangling things and separating everything out. And what our angels and our guides and our loved ones love is when we do that and we have that personal knowing. Because it's one thing for someone to tell us and we may go, yeah, I don't know, that feels right, it doesn't feel right. But if you do the work, which any or all of us can do, then you really know on a deeper level. Where does the Creator come in with one's guides? Well, the Creator is the overseer of everything. God is the overseer of everything and puts things into place so that we can all evolve, develop, learn, and grow. And so the Creator's never left out of anything. No one gets to come together, collaborate, or anything else unless the Creator's involved in some way. So think of the Creator as having that fatherly or motherly hand, if you will, into all of that. And there you go. Renee says, yep, my grandpa, he loves you so much, Renee. Amanda's saying thank you. And I know that others are here listening. So if I miss something, please just retype in your question or your chat, because I want to move into the idea of angels and the idea that angels support every walk, every step, every struggle, every triumph, everything that's going on in our life. We've got angels that are right by our side. And the angels are non-judgmental. We often think of them as saintly, or to have angels in our lives, we need to be these perfect people that never say a cuss word, that never get angry. And the truth is that the angels don't have any care for that kind of stuff. They're not judging us. The beauty of working with angels is they're our biggest cheerleaders to get over our issues, but they didn't walk a human life. So they don't get from that human perspective fears that we have. So how many of you have ever wanted to say lose a few pounds, or wanted to change your job, or wanted to move or wanted to be in a relationship or end a relationship, and you were afraid to do it, and you're like questioning, is this the right thing to do? Should I do this? Even if, say, it's buying a car. I've agonized over, and I mean, it's amazing the angels work with me at all, because I think they're over there going like, oh my God. Because, I mean, even buying a car, even buying a jacket, I'm like, should I spend the money on buying that jacket? It's $125. That's so much money. Do you know what I mean? Like, we'll second guess anything or everything. And they want to support us letting go of fears. And they're not saying that we should be irresponsible with our life. But if we're stopping ourselves from doing something like getting healthy because we're using something as a crutch, perhaps, I mean, it can be as simple as caffeine. Like there's caffeine's not necessarily bad for you. I'm not trying to say that, but it's looking at areas of our life that isn't working for us, whatever we decide isn't working for us, and why aren't we moving past it? Why is it so hard? And why aren't we becoming in alignment with what we want? And the angels are perfect for helping us get there, because they are like, just see beyond it. Just get past it. And it's like, it sounds so simple from that perspective, but sometimes we need that. We need to be reminded that we're the only ones holding us back. And they can see through into our soul and our heart and into that creator source that we had someone else bring up. Where is, creative source in here? Where is God in this? And it's within us to see beyond what's holding us back so that we can have a greater life than we think. I've done this to myself. Well, I'm too old now to make this change, or I'm too old to do this, or I'm too old to change my life this way. The too anything you put in front of something is where the angels come in to erase it. Whether you think you're too old, too short, too fat, too tall, too thin, too educated, too not educated, whatever the two is you're putting in your way, the angels are here to erase it, to help you be more authentic to who's really at the core of your soul, so that you can evolve and grow the most. What the angels aren't the best at is recognizing the struggle that it can sometimes be as we go through that process of maybe a divorce, maybe a job change, maybe a health crisis change to get better, because we're creatures of habit. If I discover that I'm in a pattern or a habit in my life because of things I'm eating, because of stories I tell myself in my life about who I am, then that's where the angels can come in, and where an angel reading is powerful to help you get past it, to see what is possible. The angels are never wrong, but what can happen is that we decide that we're not ready to make it happen. And you have that free will choice. But the angels are those, they one up everything. They're always like, they're helping us to get past this issue. They're helping us to get past wherever our shortcomings are in our life, which I think is beautiful. I've got some questions going on. Okay, when I come to a reading with you, you were surprised how many people were there to speak to me. It felt, since I was a child, how do we know it really is our loved ones? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Renee. How do we know it's really our loved ones? If I'm personally meditating, or I'm asking for a connection, whether I'm folding laundry or doing something where my mind is becoming quiet, there's a feeling that comes over me of knowing. Even if I'm not sure, or I didn't know a great grandmother in my life or something like that, there's a feeling of knowing that this person's come forward for me in love. And over time, if I do the work for it and I create the space in my life, I know what it is. I can definitely do a reading and get support from someone in spirit, but I always want to be open to a reading and not say, well, if I don't hear from this, then maybe it's not real, the information that I'm getting. I don't want to give that perspective. So how do we know can come from a space of putting the work in to feel around it. And then the evidence shows up in my life. Books come into my life. People say things to me at random that I don't even know, that probably aren't mediums or anything like that. Other things line up in my life. The synchronicities happen to support the journey that I'm on, especially if I drop the fear and I say yes and I take chances. And then Amanda, who's such a beautiful soul, she writes, yes, they're here to help us, and they sure do. They celebrate it with us all along the way. Yolanda writes, hi, Leanne. Hi, Yolanda. I had 2 experiences of brief moments into the close future of events that would happen. They were revealed as if in mini motion picture. Right. One saved my life. I altered my interaction, and it goes on to say, and others just occurred, no harm. And they were spirit interventions. But see, remember, at the core of who we all are is spirit. That is the core within all of us. And if we all take a look, and even if you're talking to someone who doesn't want to believe any of this, at the core of who they are is spirit. And so, yeah, your spirit can tap into information. Your spirit team can also use that to give to you to support you on your way. Like that. Oh, Gina's in the room. Love you too. She's an incredible, amazing angel intuitive, gives angel readings. If you're in the St. Louis area, you just want to do it online, you can connect Gina. She's in the chat room if you've seen her. She's just a beautiful, an incredible, amazing soul. Alrighty, and then Renee writes, thank you so much. I honestly feel like you are answering every question I've been feeling, so I'm glad to answer it. So just to recap on this, and I want any last questions that you have here, of course, about guides. Our guides had a past life with us. They love us deeply, strongly, and completely, more than we can fathom or imagine. Deeper than any love we've had for a human being here on the earth plane at this time, or I don't know. I don't know that I can know that I believe that. That's what they tell me. But my love for my son is beyond crazy amazing, and so it's stronger or deeper, they tell me, than love for our children. Let's see. And know that we've had many past lives with them, and their job is to help us drop fear and to move forward, because they know what it's the fear feels like to be human, and they've had lives with us. Our loved ones had lives with us in this lifetime, or they're part of our ancestry, and they want to cheer us on to move us forward. Oftentimes, because we have a comfort level with them, if we knew our grandparents, we knew a loved one in our life, they can step forward to help us from that level. They can help us heal. They help us to get over any uncompleted or unrequited issues if they can, and if we're willing to open our hearts and minds and listen, whether that's meditation or whether it's quieting your mind or whether through a reading. And the angels are our biggest cheerleaders. They help us let go of fear. An angel reading should push you in ways that feel a little uncomfortable at times, that you can do more or be more than you are today. The angels see bigger for us because they're not encumbered by the earth life that they had. They're not encumbered by the fears that we get of money, resources, time, feeling worthy, all of that. They see bigger for us. They see into our soul and how big our soul is. And that just speaks of having a hard time since her mom passed away, and that can be true. We need to allow ourselves time to grieve, and then to realize that through loss, that connects us to everyone else in the world. We're all experience loss in one way or another, and you are not alone. And so much love goes out to you, Annette, and for the loss that you have. It's so important, I feel, to honor that loss, and don't ever let anyone tell you time heals all wounds, because it doesn't. We have to find a new normal. We find a new way of being. And so honor your feelings no matter how long it takes. My father has been passed to the spirit world for almost 48 years, 47 years. And it's still completely and utterly difficult. I don't think time's healed anything with that, and that's a lot of years. But I don't let my grief or my loss of him stop me from helping other people, giving back, loving others, living life to the fullest for me of what feels right in that moment. Renee, thank you. I'm not amazing. I'm just regular old me, and I'm kind of goofy and not really good at technology yet, but I'm learning. But anyway, thank you. You're amazing too. And I'm so glad that you've been helped even a little bit. And I hope that I can help more. I hope that this is just the tip of the iceberg for both of us, like Renee, you and me. Let me know. Let me know. I want in your comments here too. What's other classes that you want? What do you want to learn more about? And Amanda does right. Gina is wonderful. And we do know Gina Ballard. If you want to find her, she's in the St. Louis, Missouri area. She is fantastic and phenomenal. Book a reading with her. You will not be disappointed. Anyway, okay. To go on, I want to say here to my next series, I do want to start next week. So I'm going to start next week, even though it's Thanksgiving weekend. So a lot of you might be busy, but you can always watch back later. But I hope you'll join me at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which would be noon Central and 1 o'clock, I believe, Eastern. I'm going to start the how-to series on developing your intuitive abilities with activities and exercises at home. You can do on your own. You can call a friend. You can however you want to. It's going to be ideas and activities that you can do at home to expand your own personal intuition, get a greater connection to your intuitive abilities or your connection to spirit even. And it's not going to be meditation. So there you go. So stay tuned for that how-to series that starts next week. And there will be homework. So hopefully you come back each week to join me and tell me how your homework went. All right. And Dawn's giving some love and support to Debbie Barr, who asked about reincarnation and do we have the same spirit guides? No, we don't. We take on others, or in someone else's lifetime, we might be their spirit guide. Think about that one. How would you help someone else get through difficult times in their life? And I'm thinking, Debbie Barr, if you were to help anybody, you go on from this lifetime one day, a long time from now, and you come back to help someone, I know that you would have a plethora of support and advice because you've experienced so much. So wouldn't you be a terrific spirit guide for someone else that you loved? So there. Amanda, oh, thank you. I appreciate you as well, Amanda. And I just love you and so much. And I hope I get to see you again sometime soon. Thank you, Krista. I do. I love sharing my wisdoms and what I know. And also, I always say, take what resonates and give the rest back. Oh, Linda, thank you for being here. I also appreciate you. And don't forget, please go to once I reach 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel, I want to say subscribe to my channel. So, okay, getting goofy. Anything to try, not because I want to have a lot of people subscribe to my channel for me. I want it so that it's easier for other people to find me. I love this. You're welcome. April. Okay. Renee asks how to quit your mind to fine-tune your gifts. It takes time and patience and dedication. You find what works for you. You try different things. Hiking, folding laundry, doing dishes, sitting to set the intention to bring them in. Some people sit with a pen and paper in their hand to do writing. You do different things to support you to quiet your mind. That's how you develop the relationship with spirit, whether it's the angels, your loved ones, or guides. And it just takes time. It's development. There's no better answer than that. Sorry. Wish it was a switch that we could do, a pill we could take, a vitamin we could do, eating more broccoli. We'd all do it. It's more than that. Anyway, but I probably need to eat more broccoli. Anyway, I heard a female, my friend Barbara writes, I heard a female voice whispering in my ear. The message was not legible. It was the spirit guides. It could have been spirit guides, but not necessarily. And I don't know your specific instance on this one. And so I want to leave it open to being angels, spirit guides, or loved ones. But what we want to do is feel into not so much that the voice or that we were hearing a voice or discerning the exact message, but the feeling that comes over us. The feeling becomes more powerful. And so, but the fact that we're hearing something means that there's tuning to be done and work to be done there, which often means that we need to slow down, quiet the mind, find time in our schedule, whether it's 10 minutes at lunch where we sit in our car, we're on the treadmill quietly, we're walking the dog, folding the laundry, whatever it is, to begin to be able to fine tune those, because it won't be so much like you hear the voice outside of your ear coming in. It'll be an internal knowing, a hearing inside your mind or your head, and that's where it's super helpful. Classes on healing would be great. I actually was just mentioning that healing work is slightly changing for me. I'm not stepping away from doing the reconnection and reconnecting people, but there's things that are expanding, and I saw stuff come in for someone that I did in a healing not too long ago. The person that was receiving the healing cried the whole time she was having the healing, and it was tears of purity and moving. It was going to be a very clearing and beautiful thing for her. So things are evolving for me, but at this time I'm not planning on teaching just a healing class. I have taught healing with the angels in the past. So if you guys want the healing with the angels class back, let me know here. Let me know on Facebook. Send me an email, leanne@angelichope.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, comment in the comments. Bring back the healing class with the angels and we'll do it. And then Gina writes, I had a dream. I took a class with you about unraveling the nervous system and spirit. I just read that, and I got to tell you, I have someone in my life named Dawn who may or may not be in the chat room, and we were just talking about the healing work that I was doing. It does have to do with the nervous system stuff and getting people to get past even habits of the mind and of the physical body. So crazy that you wrote that. So I want to validate that for you, Gina, but I have to work on that first myself, because Spirit has to teach me first. So that could be coming down the pike, sister friend. Maybe something we could work on together. So maybe we should talk and collaborate. Becky says, let's get you back in St. Louis in February. I'm ready to jump on a plane and come. You just message me, text me, call me, send me a spirit smoke signal. I'm on it. We'll do it. I'd love to come back to St. Louis. Thank you, Yolanda, for being here. Mwah, I really appreciate it. And Amanda, you're a blessing just as well. Love you. Debbie, you're welcome. And Amanda writes, thank you. Thank you all. Okay, any last questions? And you guys know what's coming up next in the series, right? The how-tos. How to do your own personal connecting. You know what I want to see? This is what I want to see. Putting it out there. Putting out a challenge to all the peeps out there listening. Put together a group around this and my how-tos week by week. Put a group together in your neighborhood of live people. You can do it online if you want to arrange it, but get together with a group of your friends and do the activities and come together and use that to spur like a development group. It could happen that way. You could do it that way, and then feed back to me how your development group, and I could give feedback on you what to do next, how to take it to the next level with your personal development group. Let's do it. Yay, Aaron Newman, I am glad you saw the share. Okay, great. Aaron, and if you're listening, then thank you for being here. All my love. Thank you. Oops. Okay, let's see. Did I miss anything? Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming on. If you missed some of it, take a look at the Soulmates class. That it will be for 8 people. It's a year-long journey. Let me know if you want more information about that. Let me know if you're interested by signing up for the 2-day personal development course in March. And then stay tuned for the next series starting next Sunday. It'll be back at 10 a.m. on your personal journey, like things you can do at home to help your own spirit connections. And then put together your own little development. It can be anybody. It can be your neighbor. It can be your husband that you do the development stuff with, a good friend. like get together and say, hey, I don't know if you saw the video that Leanne did, but here's the task, here's the homework, do it, get back to me, let's talk about it, let's all do it together, and let's see how it goes. I'm excited to see it. If there's anything else, let me know, but if not, I want you to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Many blessings. Please go to YouTube, Leanne Thomas, subscribe to my channel. Once we get to 500, I'm going to give away a free reading. There's going to be other giveaways that happen in time with other levels. I'm even planning an online group reading just for subscribers. So stay tuned for some of that as well. The call to action is really simple, but the call to action is for you. I want for you to have spiritual development, for you to have all of the spiritual connections and informations that you would need. If you want more information, Janine, about the Soulmates class, it's going to be 1 hour once a month-ish, 1 hour-ish, and it's going to be 12 classes, and people have to be ready, so there will be some kind of an application form. So in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to make a video on how to apply and what will be involved, because it's not going to be a class for everyone. If you really want to find your soulmate, you have to be willing to do things to work on and change your life. So I'm excited about that class, though, because I've had some real good success with people and working on their soulmate and finding their soulmates. So it's been very successful so far with everyone that I've worked with on a personal level. All right. Happy Sunday, and sending you all love and blessings. Know that the energy that's coming at us the next couple of weeks is still going to be very much pushing. Do something, move in a certain direction, be more authentic. So if you participated in my Sunday morning prayers that I do every Sunday on my Facebook page, and you know I talk about the energy report and what's going on, take a look at that if you haven't seen it, and I will see you back here next Sunday with the How To series. Subscribe, 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 subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe. All right. Okay, everyone. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.